I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold 8 for the last 10 days, and I'm not supposed to be using this phone anymore. I have plenty of devices that I have to go back to for follow-ups. The Razr Fold, my beloved Razr Ultra. I have a ton of comparisons I have to do for both Android Authority and here, but yet this phone still finds a way to stay in my pocket, and that's absolutely not the normal chain of events for me. I test 40 phones a year. I put my SIM in it, I test it, I do the initial review, and then I slate it for a follow-up 2 weeks or a month down the line, and then I'm on to the next phone. And there are so few devices that transcend that. The Razr Ultra, if you're a long-time viewer of this channel, you know is one of those. This is a phone that is always getting my SIM when I'm not reviewing another device. I always want this device in my pocket. The Galaxy Z Trifold has been another one of those devices that just kind of finds its way into my pocket time and time again, and add the Galaxy Z Fold 8 to that list. Link in the description. By the way, if you want one, does help the channel. And this is the first device you're going to see that is the post-spec era. A device that focuses mostly on the user experience, and it's the first one that I think really delivers, and you overlook. It's not a perfect phone. There are plenty of things that you overlook, and we're going to talk about those in a moment, but you don't even notice it because you're loving the experience so much on this device. Now let's talk about that, because why do I love my Razr Ultra so much? And it's because, yes, I love the form factor. Yes, it's nice and sleek. I love the colors. I love the fact that Motorola experiments with different textures and designs and materials. But it's the user experience. It's the functionality of the phone. I love the cover display experience on my Razr Ultra. I get to do that Instagram scroll. I get to respond to the message. It limits my need to unfold the device constantly, and I get a lot of functionality on the cover screen. Yes, and then when I need to, I can unfold it, and I have the full-fledged smartphone experience that we're used to. And the reason why I think this device transcends that typical niche that you see with foldable devices into regular pockets, casual user pockets, is because you don't have to explain to anybody why this is useful. You don't have to explain to anybody why the Razr Ultra is what it is. You get that cover screen experience, which is fantastic, but you can use it like the regular smartphone that we're used to for years. You just fold it into this compact form factor when you're done. Now, the Z Fold 8 is a little bit more complicated than that, but I believe it transcends for a similar reason. And you're seeing that in the sales data. You're seeing that in the marketplace response to this phone. It's not just enthusiasts who are buying this device, nor should it be, because this is a device for a lot of different people. So let's talk about that. So much like the Razr, cover screen experience is phenomenal. 5.5-inch display, 16 by 10. I could do everything. I could spend the entire day on this cover screen and not feel like I was compromised. I absolutely love it. I get it, it's wide for some people. That's the main complaint that I see. It says wide, it's uncomfortable to hold. I don't know, whatever. Use it with two hands. The typing experience is great. The email experience is great. The social media experience is phenomenal. You pull up Instagram, you get this nice wide experience on this device. I love it. If you're TikTok, big on TikTok, the TikTok experience is great. I've seen more videos of people using the outer display for video, like we've displayed a couple times. We put in tent mode. The video experience at 16 by 10 is phenomenal. Just really great for content. So this is a device that's versatile for a lot of different reasons, as the cover display is number one. And I treat it just like a more full-fledged version of the cover display on the Razr Ultra. It's just wide enough that you could do everything on here and not feel limited in any significant way. And the experience is pretty darn good because it's wider. Boy, I miss wider phones, and I get it. Some people they want it to feel more comfortable in their hand. That's why manufacturers went away from that. But boy, this is a really good experience. And then you have the inner display. And this is the big thing that I want to highlight, because people will look at the price tag, look at the device, and say, this is for productivity. I don't really work on my phone, whatever else. This is the first one of these foldables, the book-style foldables, that you don't need to necessarily just have it be a productivity machine for it to make sense for you. This is a device that if you're a completely casual user, just social media, whatever, you're going to enjoy this. You have the multitasking where you get a nice wide ratio for both apps on both sides. I love that. And you can pick one. It's not the full-on swipe up, as we've shown before with the Microsoft Surface Duo, where you can have one app open, you swipe up. But you get to keep the one app open, select another app, and it's a pleasant enough experience, and you get enough of that. But what's great and what makes the Z Fold 8 more versatile than the Z Fold 8 Ultra, and this is a point I keep coming back to for people, is they say, well, turn your Z Fold 8 Ultra sideways, and you got kind of this experience. It's sort of the 4x3 that you're looking for. Yeah, but then I could do this. Then I could do this and get a 7.6-inch tablet portrait orientation that's even better for social media, some web browsing, whatever else you want to do. So this is a phone that I don't feel I'm limited in a way that I normally am in the experience on foldables. We're going to talk about specs in a moment. But the experience on foldables, because I get any orientation that I need. If I need a cover display, if I need landscape, and if I need portrait, each one is a nice experience. Tent mode we talked about, aspect ratio. Now I get it. There are some limitations, right? Everyone's going to talk about the camera. Will you notice the difference in the camera? Is it a camera that you'll get on the S26 Ultra? No. No. You'll absolutely notice the difference on this camera. 50 megapixel sensor is nice, but it's a little older. You're going to notice the difference. Do I care? No. Right? And I understand if you do. But this is a phone that when you pick it up and you start using it, you stop looking for reasons not to like it. And you just use it for what it is. And I understand that's a really tough pill for people to swallow at $1,900. But it's something you have to experience it and then you understand. The speakers aren't the best. I've heard so much about speaker placement. Personally, you couldn't put them on the side. I don't know what you're going to do. The speakers aren't the most full-fledged sound I've ever heard. Again, I don't care. I put on a headset, whatever, and I just keep going about my day. That's not a reason why I wouldn't buy this. It's not a reason why I'm going to sit here and complain about this phone. Sound experience isn't good. I get that. Camera experience could be better for $1,900. I get that. You want to go on about the specs and the silicon carbon battery and everything. Battery life is phenomenal on this, by the way. Easily get a full day heavily using the internal display well into the next day. Battery life has been really good on this despite the slightly smaller cell. All that being said, when I talk about devices that find their way back in my pocket repeatedly, despite the fact that I have other work to do, when I talk about phones that I find myself sad when I stop using, they all have something in common. It's based not around the specs, not around any particular raw horsepower, not against any benchmark, not against any of that stuff. It's based around the user experience. And for a company that struggled with that in the last few years, boy, did Samsung nail it on the Z Fold 8. This is a phone that absolutely should be in your pocket. It should be in a lot of people's pockets. Now, the price is always going to make these devices, these book-style foldables, a difficult conversation. The price is always going to put these in a stratosphere that does lean towards enthusiasts a little bit. However, if you're getting a S26 Ultra, $1,300, right? Pixel 11 Pro XL, $1,300. These phones are creeping up anyway. If you get this one on a sale, if you have a trade-in, whatever it happens to be, that $600 gap is going to get a lot narrower, a lot sooner than you think. And these type of devices are the ones that are going to get this phone in more pockets than you previously thought possible with foldables outside of stuff like the Razr Ultra and the Razr lineup. Because this is a device like that. This doesn't win on specs. This doesn't have the best camera experience. It has a pretty decent camera experience. But it doesn't win on it. It doesn't have the most powerful chipset you can currently get. Got a lot of RAM, got a lot of storage, it's got some other things. But the point is the user experience. It marries all that stuff with a wonderful user experience. That's what Samsung is finally starting to get with the Z Fold 8. Because other specs aren't going to move the needle anymore. There's no reason for more power. The power on these chipsets has increased exponentially in the last few years. But guess what? User demand really hasn't. Instagram can only open so quickly. You know, Genshin Impact can only play so fast. There's only so many things you can do on these devices that you want to do regularly. Are there the people, the one-offs editing 4K video on their devices, they want a little faster? Yes, sure. But for most users who are going to shell out money for this thing, the specs aren't what are going to sell you anymore. Isn't what's going to sell you anymore. And that's, to me, what the Z Fold 8 starts to recognize. And boy, did Samsung get it pitch perfect. This is a phone where the user experience beats all, And you don't know that until you use it. But there is a reason why this phone is getting the praise that it is. And it's not hype. It's not whatever else. It's not nostalgia. It's not the gimmicky. It's not it'll wear off. It's not going to wear off. This is a very natural form factor to use. It's light. It's compact. It's versatile. There's lots of things you could do here. And it's focused around casual user needs. That's a winning formula, whether you like it or not. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.